Every month, almost 2 billion people log on to Facebook. Its founder, Mark Zuckerberg, grew impatient with the creation of an official Harvard webpage while he was a student, and so he and his friends decided to take matters into their own hands. Zuckerberg launched Face Smash for Harvard students only, and from there it spread to other colleges, and then on February 4th, 2004, the site The Facebook was launched nationally. Just 4 years later, the company was valued at nearly $4 billion. It's already hard to remember life before it, when we actually smiled at someone when we liked something, and tagging was just a kid's game. The online platform shifted our communication from emailing to broadcasting the content of our lives, and even if it went away tomorrow, it has forever changed the way we communicate. Facebook continued to experiment with the ways users could webcast. So when Facebook Live appeared, it enabled users to go live with whatever they were doing from wherever they were doing it with the push of a button. And through it, we've had front row seats to everything.
Okay, here we go.
From the viral sensation of Chewbacca Mom to the other extreme, the live cast of the Minnesota shooting.
I told him not to reach for it. I told him to get his hand out.
You told him to get his ID, sir, and his driver's license. Oh my God, please don't tell me he's dead. Please don't tell me my boyfriend just went like that.
Where Diamond Reynolds broadcasts the aftermath of the shooting of her partner.
He was just getting his license and registration, sir.
The internet via Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, and so many more sites has become our go-to for just about everything. Breaking news, social movements, or a funny moment to break up an otherwise horrible day.
I saw the life inside in your eyes tonight.
These statistics show us in real time the sheer enormity of web activity at any moment in the day. It is now true that every second, 6,000 tweets are tweeted, and 41,000 status updates are posted to Facebook. And Google processes 100 billion searches a month.
I think it's fact. I don't put a judgment on it. I think we're heading towards a world where everything is being imaged. I have to teach my 4-year-old kids now that if they do something and it's viewed on Facebook, it's there forever. So ultimately, it's going to change society.
Audience participation made the internet enormously powerful, but its reach accelerated with the juggernaut of online gaming. It's nearly a $100 billion worldwide industry. 4 out of 5 households in the United States have gaming consoles, translating into 155 million Americans playing games regularly. All right, Koopa Troopa, game on.
Game on, Veritasium. Am I saying that right? Veritasium.
For some, it is a full-time job. They play online and others pay to watch. I went one-on-one with game streamer Josh Peters, who goes by Koopa Troopa 787. Ugh, I hate that. He's definitely out of my league. Tell me about the journey from, doing gaming for fun to doing gaming for a living.
After a week of doing it, without even trying to monetize or make money from it, within a week of starting, I was making more money than I was at my full-time job. For the first time in my life, I felt like I could actually do something that I really enjoyed, but make a living out of it. And I know sometimes I take that for granted.
It's a very, very big question, but I mean, do you feel like the internet has made a life possible for you that was otherwise impossible, or what are your thoughts on it?
I have had up to 57,000 people at once watching me play a phone game, and that's an entire stadium's worth of people watching me play a game on my tablet from my home office. And that's not possible without the internet.
Let's see here. All right, he's dead. He's fallen to the ground. Now I'm going to try talking to the little kid again.
And he has no idea where most of these people are watching him from, or who they are. The audience lurks in the shadows. His fan base is completely anonymous. Capitalizing on the invisibility of anonymity, apps like Whisper and Secret and Yik Yak began to saturate the marketplace. Yik Yak was created by college friends Tyler Droll and Brooks Buffington. They wanted to create a more democratic social media network where users didn't need a large number of followers to have a virtual voice. So they allowed people to post comments completely anonymously. Yik Yak's 1.8 million faceless users share thousands of yaks per day. It started out, innocently enough, with postings like,
"Shout out to the girl in the red sweater on the library steps. Looking real good."
I hate when my phone says searching, but when it does, I hold it to my heart and whisper, "Me too, phone. Me too."
Good morning, Savannah. Well, the smartphone app Yik Yak only launched last December, but how quickly it took off.
Yik Yak targets college students, but the younger crowd is using it too.
And it can also be dangerous. It's called Yik Yak.
but the tide quickly changed to cringeworthy and, of course, horribly offensive messages, or yaks as they are known. Female students at the University of Mary Washington were threatened verbally with rape and other kinds of abuse.
Crime alert out of Fredericksburg, where police say a man has been arrested for the murder of his college roommate.
One of them was actually murdered. Her friends and family say it was partly due to the tension that began on the app.
In Falls Church, the funeral for Grace Mann is being held.
There were incidents at dozens of colleges and universities. Yik Yak's founders say that they have made changes to address the complaints they received, like adding filters to flag offensive language. They have also built geofences around roughly 85% of the nation's high schools and middle schools.
Total anonymity gives you freedom perhaps to speak or to explore different thoughts, ideas, possibilities that might be out of the bounds of perhaps your normal social milieu or your physical setting or whatever. But how do you balance the need for anonymity in very real situations, the political dissident, the abused spouse, etc., versus the growing trend of just intolerant speech online?
As social media connects more people than ever before, its success depends on companies policing their sites so that racists, criminals, and bullies do not make their presence known.
The really mean-spirited things that people say is just mind-boggling.
Content moderators like Alex Schrum patrol the cyber frontier. Their full-time job is to remove offensive material from social networking sites. For content moderators like Alex, it's a grim workday, and the burnout rate is high.
You say something offensive to someone online, you can't see their physical reaction in their face. You can't see how hurt they feel. So there's no human aspect to it, and you feel like you can kind of there's no consequences for your actions.
It desensitizes us. When we go online, we're not looking at each other, and empathy is born in the gaze, in the eye contact, in the face.
Sherry Turkle has spent the last 30 years studying the psychology of people's relationships with technology.
There's been a 40% drop among young people, among college students, in the capacity for empathy in the last 20 years, with most of the change taking place in the past 10.
Content moderation requires a human touch. No amount of programming or algorithms can do this work, especially when it comes to imagery.
A lot of the images that come through are sexually explicit, sometimes sexually violent, or very gruesome.
The constant stream of troubling words and pictures takes a toll. On average, moderators last somewhere between 3 and 6 months before quitting. Some have even reportedly developed post-traumatic stress disorder.
You leave work at the end of the day feeling a little down, a little depressed, kind of lose your faith in humanity a little bit. My mantra for moderators is moderate in moderation. If you're doing it all day, every day, whether it's images or content or videos or anything else, you'll feel like your whole world is negativity.
This business is often kept in the shadows intentionally. The large companies who hire content moderators don't advertise that reportedly half of their workforce is doing this type of work. They don't want the public to know that there's actually a huge need to police their sites.
Most people don't know that there's this whole other side to the internet where there are people working really hard to prevent you from seeing some of the more negative things that get posted online, which there are a lot of. I don't think we'll ever get rid of kind of the dark corners of the internet where the seedy people go to do what they'll always do. I think it's inevitable, and it's just part of human nature, and it's going to be a part of the internet as long as the internet is around.
Some governments have also taken action to gain control of the web.
Take China, for example. They've built what's known as the Great Firewall. It's a sophisticated system of filters that blocks out anything the Chinese government deems undesirable. So if you're in China and you search for persecution, you'll get a blank screen that says page not available. You get the same kind of results if you search for Tibetan independence or democracy movements. You know, websites like the New York Times, Time Magazine, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and most of Google are also blocked. There's no denying that someone's always watching you.
They also are implementing highly controversial surveillance, which they call the Golden Shield Project, using speech and face recognition, closed-circuit television, and other internet surveillance technologies. The Chinese government hopes to create a gigantic online database of each and every one of its citizens. And several years ago, China insisted that Yahoo turn over account information that ended up helping the government track and imprison journalists, 2 of which were then sentenced to 10 years in prison. The incident attracted so much attention that Congress held a hearing where an outraged congressman told Yahoo executives,
"While technologically and financially you are giants, morally you are pygmies."
Yahoo has since apologized for the incident.
Censorship has gone global. France and Germany have laws banning Nazi propaganda, and in Australia, there have been a series of proposed laws to block pirated materials and protect children. Now, those are worthy goals, but it does make you wonder where this might lead.